Alrighty, hello people of YouTube. Today I want to record a video where I share all of the tools that I use to heal my nervous system. So honestly, I'm going to try and cover everything that I've used here and continue to use if I ever feel myself get into a dysregulated state, which is actually kind of where the theme for this video came. Is recently I got sick, from some sort of virus, but also I just felt my nervous system had become overworked and overstressed, and I was starting to struggle with a whole bunch of symptoms, and I was just feeling all over the place, honestly. And it was a great, and this is my perspective on chronic illness in general, is it's always a great guide to reflecting on what am I doing with my energy, what is draining me, and what restorative techniques do I need to come back to. So this is what I want to share here. I'm going to run through a bunch of tools. This is the stuff that I use. Try it out for yourself. And yeah, I mean, maybe this is the only video you need because I'll try to run through everything here. So, let me talk about how I deal with the dysregulated nervous system. So a great example is also realizing what puts the nervous system in dysregulation. So for me, it's things that drive up inflammation in the body is like one thing that I can clearly see has a big impact for me. So it's like there was a combination of factors recently that put me in like quite an intense state. So it was like a lot of alcohol the one night combined with being sick. I had like a virus combined with going for a very hard run the next day because I was just fed up with being sick. So I went into like a 12k run at like zone 5 heart rate, combined with eating lots of like sugary foods. So I mean, I was kind of asking for it, right? So combining all of these things, it was no surprise that my body was just completely overwhelmed for a couple of days. And then also like lots of highly distracting activities, specifically like on the cell phone, right? The more time for me I spend kind of scrolling and distracting, like instant kind of continuous distraction on the cell phone, that has a big kind of tightens up the nervous system, you could put it, right? So all of these together, so it's helpful to understand, okay, I need to kind of come back into a regulated state. So now let me explore my favorite tools. So what I like to do, first step, is I go and find nature, right? If I'm really feeling like shit, I can feel indoors, it's like a not nice space for me. So I'll go drive somewhere, right? I wasn't feeling up for exercising, so I just went and drove somewhere, and I just sat outside in nature. I breathed in the fresh ocean air, and I just kind of felt into that deeper and deeper. So personally, I recommend that as a tool, right? Find nature, sit in it, just sit, leave your phone behind, and spend time in nature. Another one for me, let's say tool number 2, is cold water. So I know for some people it might not be for you, but for me, immersing myself in cold water, whether that's a cold shower or a cold swim in the ocean, is such a great reset for the nervous system. It's a reset, right? Whatever, it brings me back into the body, it brings me out of the head. It can be intense, right? I'll often, like specifically if it's really cold, be shivering a lot afterwards and whatever, but overall I find it an incredibly helpful practice. It clears the mind for me as well. It brings you into the sensations. It has anti-inflammatory effects. It has great nervous system health effects. You just need to make sure you can warm up properly afterwards, which can be a struggle. So that's something I like to combine: nature, cold water, and then meditation, right? Meditation for me is so helpful for my overall mental health and my nervous system health. I've gone through periods where I've meditated a lot, and I've felt increasingly felt healthier and healthier and healthier, and just my quality of living just improves. And then I've gone through periods where I've kind of like, oh, let me integrate with life, get busy, live a normal human life, which has been cool for periods of time. But I've noticed the effects if I go for too long without meditating, it does start to, my body starts to remind me that this is a practice that I've realized is important for me. So that's another thing, is like taking away distractions, really limiting, turning off my cell phone for a while, and honestly just sitting. And I've got other videos on meditation, so I'm not going to go too deeply into meditation here, but for me it's generally a more intuitive kind of letting go meditation that I like to do. It's not like a focus on trying to control my thoughts, and it's much more going deeper and deeper into subtler experiences. As I said, I've got guided meditations as well that can give you a taste of that. So yeah, increasing my meditation time is something I'm continuously reminded is very good for my nervous system health. So that's another one. And then in some of my recent videos, I've been touching on this topic a little bit, and that is just embracing kind of my own path, right? And I've realized this. If this is what's kind of happened, is I started to kind of get all over the place in my head as I was trying to, go down too many different paths and be like, okay, I need to meet people, I need to go do this, I need to go do that. And then it was just too much for me. And I was like, yeah, that was the whole reason for this illness. This is what I've spoken about in other videos and interviews and stuff, is like, I realized the whole reason that I got sick was because life wanted me to go down this specific path, which focused around awakening and deeper spiritual insights, which I never would have gone down otherwise. And then I started to drift from that, or just explore different things, which is fine. It's a part of the process, I believe, as well. But this was something I was reflecting on recently, was how I'd gotten caught up in that world again, where I was believing that I needed to kind of be spending more time socially because it was just a belief, right? But yesterday I just turned off my phone for most of the day. I went and found somewhere beautiful in nature, and I just kind of sat there the whole day. And I just noticed my mind was like, oh, you should record a video right now. And I was like, no, actually, I just want to sit in silence. And realizing like, oh, that's completely okay. Maybe you spend 3 days in silence, right? Sure, you probably have to kind of feel some uncomfortable things. This is why we keep ourselves distracted so much. But it's often the beliefs that catch us up as well. Like for me, really focusing on embracing solitude. Like, cool, you're on your own, right? I just kind of had a very peaceful time in my own space, and that was really great because I've been caught up more in the outward world for a while, and online as well, social media, right? Trying to put stuff up on Instagram, put stuff up on YouTube, and it's like, no, I needed to just unplug, and I'll maybe do more of that. Honestly, it's like, if things get overwhelmed, make changes, right? And for me, it was a reminder of what are the things that work for me. So maybe the last tool as well I'll mention is journaling, right? And journaling can be, like, I've had questions before about how do I do journaling? Can I make a video on journaling? And I don't know, maybe I'll make one specifically around journaling at some point, but don't wait for it, because basically you just journal on your own situation. What are you going through? And for me, it can be like a good reminder of like, what are some helpful things to come back to, right? And that's where I could list down all the things that, and also like, what are the things that I should maybe cut out a little bit more. And then do this all from the space of self-love. I do this continuously throughout my day. I'm like feeling into a sense of love whenever I'm reminded to, or whenever I feel like I need it. I will just kind of do all these various intuitive practices around self-love, and it could just be saying, I love you, like continue. I did this the other day, right? I was driving back from somewhere and I could feel like the body was a little bit tired. So I was like, hey, let's just say I love you like 1,000 times in a row. Like, this wasn't the intention to like, okay, I have to do this 1,000 times in a row. It was just like, what happens if I do that, right? What if I just keep on saying I love you? And then what happens is I start to feel into a more deeper sense of love. So it's not just like you're saying it in your thoughts, like I love you, I love you, I love you. I was like, imagine I'm saying this to like somebody. And this is what I did years ago when I was healing. I started to use self-compassion to heal my body. And it's incredible because you can really shift you can feel it in your body, right? I could feel this. So I was doing this and I was like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And you can really get into this deeper, more intimate sense of love just by saying that. There was literally nobody with me, right? It's like often we think of love as like, I need a pet that I really love there, or I need a partner that I really love there. But that love that we're expressing in those moments is available all the time, right? But you it's helpful to find ways to access this, right? So imagining in your mind that you're busy saying to somebody, like imagine you've met the most incredible partner in the world, someone that doesn't exist, right? Because they've got no flaws and you just feel endless love for them. Imagine telling that partner you love them and then actually do that just in your own space. And this kind of thing for me would just like have shifted me out of this like tense, contracted state into like this relaxation in the body. And I wasn't doing it of like, okay, I'm going to force this feeling to come up. It's more like a curious experimentation, but it's incredible. It works. So that's like another overarching practice. When you're doing all of this, if you're journaling, I would do this with journaling as well. I would just sit on a page, like write on a page, I love you, I love you, I love you, deeper and deeper. And some of my old journaling from years ago, when I was journaling a lot and I was very stuck, was, you know, endlessly writing this. I would like all of this kind of stuff around self-love, seeing how much love can I pour out onto a page without, like, the thing is, you'll often get self-conscious maybe, but that's okay. Like, that's just some conditioned thought of like, we're afraid of self-love, honestly. So I think the whole theme of all of this is around self-love, really. It's like, to really embrace your alone space, allow your illness to be something that teaches you how to really ask yourself, what do you need? What do I need? Give yourself that love and you can find your way. So those are some of the tools that I've used, and yeah, I hope this is helpful. Yeah, all the best.